chosen specimen. The fires of war had finally gone silent on the human colony of Vega 9. Ash rained from the gray sky, carried by the gentle moans of a dying wind. Broken cities lay like the corpses of giants, twisted steel and glass towering above scorched streets. And amidst it all, General Vorin Talek walked with a predator's calm. His boots crunched against shattered concrete as he surveyed the aftermath of conquest. Humanity, for all its resistance, had finally bowed under the heel of the Galactic Empire. Vega 9 was the last holdout in this sector, a thorn now plucked and discarded. But even a thorn can draw blood. Life signs detected, reported one of his lieutenants, a lizard-like creature with chrome implants protruding from its neck. Anomalous reading. One infant. No other humanoids within 2 kilometers. Vorin's eyes, black and gleaming beneath his ceremonial helm, narrowed. A child? Still alive. Yes, General. And oddly resilient. Intrigued, Vorin motioned forward. The squad moved with military precision, rifles aimed and scanners humming. They found the source of the reading in the ruins of a collapsed shelter beneath a burned-out hover truck, nestled in a sealed survival pod. Inside, a baby boy, human, alive. The child did not cry. He blinked, calm, curious, as if unbothered by the charred skeletons around him. Vorin stood above the pod, silent. Then he stepped forward and, to everyone's surprise, reached inside. The baby clutched his armored finger. "Leave him," the lieutenant advised, puzzled. "Not worth analysis. Human infants perish easily. The gene maps are already archived." Vorin snapped his gaze toward the officer. "No, I want this one. Sir, he is mine now. The Empire took prisoners. They harvested data, but they did not adopt human children. This was abnormal, dangerous, even. Yet no one dared argue." Back aboard the Vindicator, the Empire's dreadnought-class warship, the child underwent full medical scanning. Data streamed across holoscreens. Heart rate, elevated but steady. Neural activity, spiking. DNA, baseline human, but with anomalies the Empire's bioengineers couldn't decode. "He shouldn't have survived that radiation leak," one medic muttered. "Any other species, any other child, would have liquefied." Vorin stood at the observation window, arms crossed. "What's his name?" the lead scientist asked. Vorin turned. He had none. He looked back down at the child, sleeping peacefully in a containment cradle. "I'll call him Kale." Days passed. Kale didn't behave like a normal infant. He never cried. He watched everything, memorized patterns, mimicked speech within weeks. When left alone in the observation chamber, he began assembling small devices from scrap parts, without instruction. The ship AI flagged him for continuous surveillance. Vorin, for reasons he did not fully understand, visited often. Not out of sentiment, he told himself. Curiosity, tactical interest. He'd crushed empires and wiped out worlds. Yet this single human child pulled at something dormant in him. Then, during a routine scan of the child's belongings, an engineer found it, stitched into the hem of the baby's swaddle cloth. A name, faintly encoded in ultraviolet ink. Rains. The ship's AI immediately froze. Alert. Classification blackout. Omega. Human surname, Rains, triggered protocol lock. Restricted files sealed by the Council of 13. Vorin's face hardened. He knew that name. Everyone in the Empire knew it. 70 years ago, Earth's last military commander, Captain Alina Rains, had led the infamous orbital ambush over Cygnus Prime. Her fleet destroyed 3 Empire ships with nothing but disabled hulls and rigged satellites. She vanished after the war's darkest hour. Assumed dead, her body never recovered. But her name haunted Imperial archives like a ghost. According to rumor, her bloodline was augmented beyond natural limits. Strategic cognition, genetic hacking, AI symbiosis, a program the Empire had tried and failed to replicate. And now her name showed up on a swaddle cloth, wrapped around a boy that should have died a dozen times over. Vorin stared at the boy through the glass again. Kale met his eyes, unblinking, calm, still holding a scrap of steel like it was a toy. Run a full heritage trace. Vorin ordered the AI. In secret. No council access. No internal logs. Compliance acknowledged. He left the chamber, walking slowly down the corridor. Something had shifted. A mistake had been made, or a trap had been set. And deep in his chest, a feeling he hadn't known in decades stirred quietly. Fear. The Reign's legacy. General Vorin Talek stood in the data sanctum of the Vindicator, a chamber sealed with 16 layers of encryption and psychometric locks. The lights were dim, and the air tasted of ozone. Holoscreens hovered silently, pulsing with restricted data that only one of his rank and risk appetite could access. The AI's voice echoed in his mind. Heritage trace complete. Subject Kale is a direct descendant of Alina Reigns, codename Spectre of Earth. Estimated grandchild. Vorin clenched his fists. The galaxy knew Alina Reigns as a myth, a war criminal to some, a savior to others. To the Empire, she was a ghost whose actions had cost them a battlefront and shattered their sense of superiority. And now her blood was on his ship, breathing, watching, learning. How is this possible? He asked quietly. Unknown. Genetic erasure was assumed. Reigns' bloodline evaded all known sterilization protocols. This subject is unregistered. Hidden. Intentional. Intentional, Vorin repeated. His thoughts swirled with unease. Someone had planted this child. Someone had wanted him to find Kale. Kale was now 2 years old and spoke in full sentences. He read schematics like picture books. The Empire's most advanced puzzle training devices were solved in hours. And yet, he never once referred to Earth. Never spoke of family. Only watched. Always watching. The medical team grew nervous. One biologist had requested reassignment after claiming Kale looked through her. Another claimed the boy had finished his sentence for her, using words she hadn't yet spoken. Vorin reviewed the reports with mounting dread. The Vindicator's crew was unaware of the investigation, but whispers had begun. Soldiers and officers avoided Deck 17, where Kale's quarters were sealed. One night, an engineer had attempted to access Kale's chamber out of curiosity. They found him the next morning with a shattered mind, babbling incoherently. His only words, she's coming. She's coming back for him. Vorin summoned the AI again. Show me everything on the Reigns genetic program. A screen flickered to life, displaying lost records from Earth's secret military labs. Projects codenamed Echo Mind, Thread Walker, and Blood Signal scrolled past. All were believed terminated after the Empire's victory. Then the files locked. Access denied. Council-only encryption. You are not authorized. I'm the High Executor of the Vega campaign. Vorin snarled. Not authorized. For the first time, even the Vindicator's AI feared the name. He returned to Kale's chamber. The boy was assembling a floating drone from parts he had no access to. Imperial tech far beyond his reach. And yet there was humming softly. Vorin entered without a word. Kale turned to him, face impassive. Why did you choose me? The boy asked. Vorin paused. I don't know. Kale studied him. Yes, you do. You felt me. Before you saw me. Vorin felt something coil in his gut. You're not just a child, he whispered. Kale tilted his head. Neither was she. The lights flickered. That night, the Vindicator was hit by a surge of unauthorized signals. Silent pings. Stealth pulses. None of them matched any known faction. The bridge AI issued a quiet alert. Vessel shadowed. Unknown signature. Cloaking technology beyond Imperial standards. Pursuit not possible. Then the signal stopped, and the following message was found burned into the lower engine chamber, etched in molten steel. Reigns. Vorin summoned his war council. He did not tell them about the boy's bloodline. He merely reported unidentified sabotage and ordered a full security lockdown. But paranoia had already begun to spread, and Vorin was beginning to lose control. He returned to the sanctum, demanding a full galactic sweep for any signs of Alina Reigns. Dead or alive, the AI hesitated. Her biometrics no longer match any existing databases. She has altered her DNA. Then how do you know she still exists? He asked. Because the signal we intercepted carries her neural encryption key. It can only be generated by her mind. Vorin staggered back. She's alive. Flashback, 70 years earlier. A young Alina Rain stood in the ruins of Earth's orbital command, her armor cracked, her lips bleeding. Empire drones swarmed above, but her hand was steady on the detonator. Around her, the last surviving officers of Earth prepared for one final gambit. A mass data burst containing Earth's knowledge, scientific, tactical, genetic, encrypted into a living subject. A legacy. She made her choice. Don't save me, she said. Save them. I'll vanish. Back on the Vindicator, Kale awoke in the night. He stared out the viewport into the endless stars. He raised a finger, and the lights on the outer hull dimmed. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. But deep inside, in the circuits of the Vindicator, a signal began to echo. One word, over and over. Rains. You took the wrong baby. The Vindicator drifted silently above a gas giant in Sector N19, its massive hull cloaked, sensors passive, crew tense. General Vorin Talek sat alone in the command chamber, staring at a blinking icon. Unauthorized entry detected. Deck 17. No alarms. No impact. No explanation. Bridge to security, he growled into the comm. No response. He tried again. Bridge to AI core. Silence. Then, the lights flickered red. In the darkened corridors, death moved like a whisper. A black figure walked through the hull, untouched by automated defenses. Armor matte and void black. No sound, no signal. Each step precise. Lethal. She left no footprints. Only fallen guards. Each neutralized with surgical precision. No one saw her face. Only the faint blue glow beneath her hood. A ghost. In her gloved hand. A pulse dagger that never needed more than one strike. She passed a squad of elite Zarn troopers. They readied weapons. Identify. She didn't let them finish. A pressure wave threw them into the walls. Bones snapped. Lights burst. And then, nothing. The ghost moved on. Kale was in his chamber, standing by the viewport, eyes fixed on the stars. He turned. Grandmother, he said softly. The sealed chamber hissed open. There she was. Alina Rains. Still alive. Still dangerous. Her armor bore the faded emblem of old Earth's first fleet. Her hair streaked with gray, face lined with time and war. But her eyes, cold, calculating, unreadable, were unchanged. Kale ran to her, and for the first time in his life, smiled. She knelt, wrapping him in a quiet embrace. You waited, she whispered. I knew you would come, he replied. Vorin stormed toward Deck 17, accompanied by 2 elite units. His breath was sharp, his skin cold with adrenaline. He turned a corner and stopped. Bodies lined the corridor. None dead, all unconscious. No blood, no alarms, just silence. In the corridor, doors hissed open ahead of him. Alina Rain stepped out, her grandson at her side. Vorin stared. It had been 70 years, but he remembered her. Rains, he said, hand drifting toward his sidearm. She didn't reach for hers. You took the wrong baby, she said. Vorin hesitated. You left him for us. No, I'll let you think you found him, she said coolly. I wanted someone high up. I wanted the Vindicator. I wanted you. Vorin's mouth tightened. You planted him. I bred him, she said simply. He carries more than my blood. He is the payload. Kale lifted his hand. A hum rolled through the hull. Lights dimmed. Consoles sparked. Vorin's helmet HUD flashed warnings. Ship-wide system breach, his AI shrieked. Command override, origin, Deck 17. All over the Vindicator, the Empire's most powerful warship began to collapse. Not physically, but digitally. Firewall shredded. Comms jammed. Navigational AI recoded in seconds. Kale's pupils pulsed with soft white light. He was inside the system. He was the system. Vorin backed away. You'll be hunted. The Empire will send fleets. No, Alina said. They won't. Because the moment I walk out of here, your entire fleet's encryption goes with me. She raised a tiny chip between 2 fingers. 5 minutes after I'm gone, every drone, every cruiser, every star cannon you control will be blind. Vorin felt the floor sway under his feet. You brought war back to us, he said. No, she replied. You brought it to us first. I'm just here for balance. Security teams tried to breach the deck. They found doors sealed with layered biolocks, Alina's. She'd keyed the ship to her DNA as soon as she arrived. Inside, Kale pulled up holographic maps of Imperial territory. Systems blinked red as they were infected. Algorithms rewritten in Earth's ancient ciphers. Whole fleet positions were being relayed, live, somewhere beyond the stars. Alina turned to Vorin one last time. I want you to remember something. He said nothing. She leaned in. You looked at my grandson and saw a weapon. I see a world, a future, and a reckoning. She took Kale's hand. The chamber lights snapped off. When they turned on again, they were gone. On the bridge, Vorin arrived just as every console went dark. Then one by one, systems returned. Slower, different. Then the screens lit up with a message. In Terran English, you took the wrong baby. He took the right ship. And beneath it, the Earth flag. Just 3 colors. Just one planet. But in that moment, it felt larger than the Empire. The price of fear. The Vindicator floated helplessly in the void, its crew stranded and systems purged. Weeks had passed, but General Vorin Talek could still feel the echo of Kale's presence in the data lines, like a virus that hadn't finished infecting its host. No signal went out. No distress call came in. The ship was silent, its command stolen not by force, but by inheritance. And across the stars, the fear was spreading. In the heart of the Empire, the High Council gathered in secret. Holograms of sector commanders flickered with static. General Talek is compromised, the speaker said flatly. The Vindicator is no longer ours. One admiral snarled, we should have killed every last Reigns after Earth fell. You let ghosts breed in the dirt. Ghosts don't breed, another whispered. They wait. The room fell silent. Then a screen lit up, unprompted. A child's voice spoke across the encrypted channel. You hunted us like cattle. You taught us to hide. Now we remember everything, and we're not hiding anymore. Kale's eyes flickered on the screen. Behind him stood Alina Reigns. The council went pale. Then the screen went black. Kale and Alina had vanished into the edges of known space, to the ruins of Earth's deep space network. Massive stations hidden in asteroid fields, long thought destroyed. But they had survived, waiting, growing. Earth's resistance hadn't died. It had evolved. They called it the Continuum. Here, Kale was not just a boy. He was Central Command. Alina walked beside the boy as he oversaw a fleet being reactivated. Ancient Terran ships with upgraded stealth tech, anti-quantum drives, neural interface weapons designed by people who once fought extinction with nothing but a dream. Are you ready? She asked him. I've always been ready, Kale replied. They made sure of that. She nodded. Then it begins. Back aboard the crippled Vindicator, Vorin sat in a darkened chamber, listening to old recordings, files he had once confiscated, now decrypted in desperation. Alina's war logs, Earth's resistance broadcasts, the journals of scientists who'd built Kale's bloodline. They hadn't created a soldier. They had created a memory, encoded into DNA. Kale didn't just learn. He remembered. Tactics, history, languages, strategies from 1,000 dead minds passed into one living vessel. He's not the last Reigns, Vorin muttered. He's all of them. And in that realization came the fear. The Empire had thought it had crushed Earth. It had only made it patient. Across 10 systems, Imperial ships began failing. No attacks, no visible fleet, just silence. Control lost, targets offline, fleet captains screaming into dead channels. The pattern was unmistakable. The Continuum was here, and no one could see them. At the edge of the galaxy, Kale sat in the command core of Earth's last supercarrier, the Lucent Fall. It had taken years to rebuild, hidden under sensor-reflective ice. He watched as Earth's hidden allies emerged. Smuggler worlds, silent colonies, AI defectors, and long-lost Terran sleeper agents. All had waited for the rain signal, and it had come. He turned to Alina. They made me for vengeance. No, she corrected. I made you for justice. What's the difference? Fear, she said. One ends when the killing stops. The other begins when the truth is undeniable. The continuum struck not with fleets, but with whispers. Banking networks collapsed. Empire AI cores rewrote themselves. Entire regions of space went dark. Then came a message, broadcast to all. We are the children of Earth. You feared our end, but now fear our return. General Vorin Talek was eventually retrieved by a scout ship. He was tried before the council for gross strategic failure. As he was escorted to exile, he turned to the gathered lords. You still don't understand, he said. You think they want war, but they don't. Then what do they want? Someone demanded. He smiled bitterly. They want to be remembered, and you gave them no choice but to remind you. Somewhere in deep space, Kale sat by a viewport, watching the stars, the boy who should have been a trophy, now the flame that burned the galaxy's illusions. He looked up as Alina approached, her voice soft. It's done. Is it? Kale asked. No, she admitted. But now, they fear us more than we ever feared them. He smiled just a little. Then he turned back to the stars and whispered, Then we've already won.